it sort of does not sound like Fame on Fire inherently, like right when we write it. But if we all dig the vibe, then what we do is we go and cover it and we make it Fame on Fire. So we've learned that skill through covering. A lot of times it could start from just a melody idea, a lyrical concept. There's so many different ways to do it, but I would say that a lot of times we sort of write music to start that is not the Fame on Fire sound or genre. And then if we really like where it's going, then we'll spice it up and we'll Fame on Fire it up, you know?
Hi, I'm Kelly from AMS, and I'm here at Irving Plaza with Blake from Fame on Fire. How you doing, Blake?
I'm great, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good. Good to be here with you.
I'm so happy to be here.
So you guys are known for doing a lot of covers. What kind of things do you look for in songs that are not in the metal genre that make you think they might sound good as metal songs?
It's a good question. There's a few things that go into it for us. One, it does have to be trending, so people have to be searching for it. Two would be, I guess, more on the musical side of things. Our singer, Bryan, great voice. I'm a fan of his voice. Certain melodies work best for him, certain don't. So you find that we cover a lot of similar artists, so maybe like a lot of Post Malone, a lot of Adele or Ed Sheeran and stuff like that, because there's certain melodies that work best for him. And I think mixing in with that is also, can we do something fun and cool and make it authentic to us, even though the song's already technically written? So that's kind of like the 3-ish things that make it worthwhile.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot from learning to play other people's music. Is there anything you've learned from covering songs that you've taken into writing your own music?
Absolutely. So for a very long time, we were doing just covers. We always had an end goal of doing originals. I think what took place is over the years of doing covers from, say, the top 40 artists in the world, we started indirectly realizing like, hey, we're learning how to write music off of the best writers ever. So I'm not saying that we're great songwriters, but doing all the covers, we sort of realized we were studying how to write really good songs, and we just kind of naturally transitioned that into our original music.
Do you ever feel differently on stage, like when you're performing a cover versus performing something that you wrote?
Personally, as the guitar player, of course, I have a little more pride in the stuff that we've written, but I also do have a lot of instrumental freedom when it comes to our covers. I'd say probably for Bryan, the vocalist, I could tell it means a lot more to him as an original than a cover. But either way, we just absolutely love doing what we do on stage. So in that moment, it's kind of the same thing, when people are having fun and we get to let it out on stage. I think it does make a difference, really.
Oh, yeah. Do you feel like it's like similar when you're releasing it too, or are the stakes higher if you've written it?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely approach an original song a little bit more methodical and strategic. There's got to be a whole ramp up to it. So it does feel better in the end releasing an original song versus a cover. Either way, it's usually a song and video together. So it's fun to at least have like a full release. But when we do an original song, there's always some sort of like ramp up to it, pre-save the link kind of vibe, that kind of thing. So it means more that way.
Now, talk to me about the actual writing process itself. Like, how does that work for you guys?
It's interesting. The writing process, there's no one way to write a song, right? So one of the ways, which is very interesting, is that by doing a bunch of covers over the years, sometimes it'll be myself or Paul, our bass player, or even Bryan, the singer, right? We will start like making something, making a little beat, if you will, kind of sounds like a, say, Juice WRLD or Post Malone vibe, and then maybe riff it on it a little bit, but mainly do like some vocal melodies. And it sort of does not sound like Fame on Fire inherently, like right when we write it. But if we all dig the vibe, then what we do is we go and cover it and we make it Fame on Fire. So we've learned that skill through covering. A lot of times it could start from just a melody idea, a lyrical concept. There's so many different ways to do it, but I would say that a lot of times we sort of write music to start that is not the Fame on Fire sound or genre. And then if we really like where it's going, then we'll spice it up and we'll Fame on Fire it up, That's
so interesting. What do you feel like the actual Fame on Fire sound is then? Like, what kind of things do you change to make it sound like you?
I don't really think about that. I think it just comes out authentically and naturally, but even at its core, right? Fame and Fire. I mean, how we came up with the name is we took famous songs, really popular songs, and we set them on fire. We made them heavier. And so I think just at our age, like growing up listening to like the late 90s, early 2000s, where, a lot of heavier music was still mainstream, and then you were transitioning to like the boy bands and sort of like pop music was changing. We have that in our core. So, the Fame on Fire sound is definitely a lot of heavier rhythms as far as instrumentals go, with that real catchy, sweet melody. And I think no matter which song we do or cover or original, you kind of always have that, you know, element in there.
Yeah, it's a recipe for success right there.
Thanks.
When the Hello cover was the first one that really like blew up for you guys, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I actually was scrolling through my my photos just the other day, and I came across a video where we watched it. We witnessed it hit 1 million views, and that was our first 1 million view video on YouTube. And like, it was a handful of years ago, and I was just like freaking out, like that the phone was shaking in the video. I was like, we hit 1 million, we hit 1 million. So yeah, that did a lot for us. It was great.
That's crazy. How did that feel for you?
Crazy. It was awesome. It was super cool. It made us. It's really interesting. I think we've done a good job at staying humble. So in like the really, really awesome, like celebratory moments, it's really nice to celebrate something like that and say, you know what, we worked really hard to get here. We did this, but where do we go from here? Like, what's next? And I think we've taken that same approach with anyone that could possibly not enjoy us, or, you know, quote unquote, the haters. You know, it's like, we don't really pay too much attention to that type of stuff. It's like, cool, like, what's next? We hit this accomplishment, what's next? So we're very much like hands-on when it comes to like the business of it and that mindset. So yeah, it was great to hit that accomplishment, but we were like, cool, now let's do it a lot more. And I think we did a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely have. If there's anything that could be next, like in your wildest dreams for you, what would you want that to be?
Ooh, that's a great question. I guess there could be a personal and a professional answer there. So right now we are in the rollout phase of some new music. So we have 2 singles out. One is at radio called Nightmare. It's doing really well. We dropped another single early April called Spiral. Both those songs we're playing here at Irving Plaza tonight. And then sort of the next couple of songs that we have coming out, originals on, I guess, what you can consider an album. Wink, wink. So really, really, really excited for that and trying to stay present for that. But I mean, as just a human being and guitar player in Fame on Fire, I'm excited to see what the rest of the year brings, what the music that means so much to us does for our fans, and you know, starting to think about some stuff for next year and just sort of what's next. So it's always exciting to see, like, you know, planning ahead for things and like what's to come. So
we're all super excited to hear what you guys have next. Before we get to that, though, I don't want to let you get away without talking about gear. So your production quality of everything is super, super great. Walk me through what kinds of gear you guys typically use to achieve that.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that. So personally, you're talking to someone who's not all that much of a gear guy, except for what I have in front of me. As far as the rest of the setup goes for live and just the recordings and stuff, I'm very blessed to have a bunch of mixing guys, engineer guys, camera guys. Everything resourcefulness is in our band, which is awesome. So me being sort of the writer and the producer and whatever, I add in that element. But when it comes to live, being the guitar player, I am rocking this really cool Fender Stratocaster Jim Root. And this thing absolutely rips. So we made a couple adjustments to it. As you can see, there is an EverTune Bridge on there. Shout out EverTune.
Shout out EverTune.
Love that thing. And we threw a Fishman Fluence in there, and we did the one pickup vibe. We got rid of the toggle switch, did some work to it. And the thing sounds crazy in the best way possible.
So you guys have done a ton of different collaborations in a bunch of different genres. How do you go about identifying someone that you want to work with?
Well, it's really cool meeting the other bands that we have toured with. I wish that we can collab with every single artist that we have played with. There are a few people that I would love to just shoot for the stars and go for. One being Post Malone. We love Post Malone. I think the Kid Laroi is right up that alley too. I personally would love to do something with Korn because I get called Jonathan Davis all the time. Yeah. You know, so I love those guys, and so, you know, that could be a pretty cool collab.
I see you've got some tape over here. Talk to me about that.
Yep, that's a thing.
What's that about?
So I'm decent at guitar. I think I found my little corner where I'm not all that great. I'm not trying to like put myself down here, but I found my pocket, and it's typically in the performance of it. Like, I'm going hard, I'm shaking the hair around. When the lights are going crazy and I'm going crazy, a lot of times I don't really know where I'm at on the fretboard. So I threw some glow tape on sort of just like what would be considered like the minor scale here on the, you know, open string, and I'm tuned to drop A. So for me, it's one, I could kind of see, and two, feel sort of where that fret is. It's just, there's been a handful of shows like earlier in our touring career where lights were going crazy, or we just had like the house LD and there's a lot of like just no lights, and I'm like, I don't really know where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still, that's why they call it a practice, right? I'm still learning. So the tape has helped me tremendously there. I think I can't remember who I saw that from, but The tape definitely helps tremendously. Yeah, I mean, looking at this guitar, it does look like there's a couple things done to it, and that's true. There are a couple things done to it. So aside from the tape, which is just my own little twist on things, we did remove both of the original pickups that were on this, and we threw in a Fishman Influence. For me, I love Fishman Influence. There's just something about it. I mean, it's just, it's sharp, it's present, it's loud, it's to me, it sort of helps make the Fame on Fire guitar tone, And then with that, of course, you see the EverTune Bridge. And what I do personally live is with the boys on stage, we do a lot of sort of tuning switches that are digitally done, right? So for instance, this is tuned to drop A, but throughout the set, we'll MIDI switch to say like double drop C to, we go up to a B, and then, so it's kind of all over the place. And instead of having to switch guitars, because I don't have that many guitars, right? We keep this EverTune in the locked position so that it stays perfectly in tune, and you would never know. So a lot of times people just hear the really, really low tuning and go, dude, how is there the low tuning on this? And I'm like, it's a little bit of magic. It's just tuned to drop A, but the EverTune keeps it perfectly in tune, so you don't hear any of those weird artifacts. And yeah, so that helps me tremendously. To be completely honest with you, even when I go back home and I just play on some of the guitars that I have at home that don't have an EverTune, I'm kind of like, something's missing here. And yeah, it's a great product, and I don't know why not everyone's using that, to be completely honest with you, because it's saved me tremendously. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it seems like it really streamlines everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes it right what I need, right where I need it.
A huge thank you to Blake from Fame on Fire for being here with us today. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this, and head on over to AmericanMusical.com for all the gear mentioned in this video.